Hey guys, welcome to my channel again, and today we are going to review this monster, Tetra, the water mermaid. Okay, so let's take a quick look at her skills and my runes before we look at her getting into some actions. So the third skill actually reduces the time of harmful effects, except for stuns or sleep, and then it recovers the ally with the lowest HP by 10%, so that is very nice. Once you scale it up, it will be 20%. And for skill 2, it removes all harmful effect and casts a shield that is 20% of your max HP for 3 turns. That is also good. And the first skill removes a beneficial effect with a 50% chance, and this also scales with your max HP. So overall, her kit is pretty good. She's a good supporter, a good support unit with quite a bit of utility. And so this is my stats. Not the greatest, because I don't use her for PvP. The accuracy could be much higher. And these are my runes: Violent, Focus, on Speed, HP, and these are the rest of the runes. And these are my artifacts. So you could also rune her speed, HP, accuracy if you want to ramp up on the accuracy. So let's see where she can be used for. Let's talk about for PvE. She could be used here. Cleave of Tough Man Beast. Yeah, so let's just run this dungeon and talk about her. So for her, the key thing is her passive. She reduces harmful effect, pretty much like pretty similar to Veromore's Raccoon, who cleanses, but for her she reduces the harmful effects. So in a way they are different. And why she works well in this particular dungeon is because the boss deal a lot of debuffs on your team, and later you would see how Spectra could actually help to increase the success chance of this run. But don't be mistaken that she could help to increase your timing for your runs. She wouldn't. Like I said, she's a support unit and she brings about a lot of utility, so she is there to increase your chances of successful runs. So yeah, the thing about her is that she is good, but then again there are actually other options to replace her. And to be honest, when we talk about PvE, for example this content, is she really crucial in this dungeon? I would say it's a no. She's just a good to have, because if you can deal enough damage to take the boss down, then you are not too worried about the debuffs. And even with the debuffs, with a healer there, you shouldn't be too worried as well. But of course I'm saying this because I'm not having trouble for this run, but for people out there who are having trouble with this run, you might not agree with me that Tetra is really good in this dungeon, or she's really needed in this dungeon. Yeah, so I think you could see that she just cleansed the 3 dots on her. Not really cleanse, she reduced the debuffs count, so it removes the dots. So talking about this, another place where she is good for will be probably Siege and Guild Wars, when there is a bomber. Okay, and okay, let's just finish this first. Okay, and why do I say that? Because same thing of a passive. If let's say you encounter Sierra, or the enemy uses any bomber without correction, Oh no, not Sierra. So if the enemy uses Gianna or any other bomber without Sierra, she will come in very, very handy. There's a good chance that the bomb won't even go off at all. However, if there's a Sierra, the Sierra could immediately just trigger off all the bombs, and Tetra wouldn't be useful in that sense. Yeah, so Tetra is also being used heavily in RTA last time, when people draft Gianna as the team. So Tetra would be helpful there. But of course, to pull that off in high level RTA, I mean in RTA in general, you will have to run your Tetra really well. Okay, so for PvP wise, I would think that she can be built if you don't have any other monsters that you want to focus on. So she's really secondary, unless you have really good runes for her and you have a team that goes really well with her. But for PvP, if there is no bomber, there is no, let's say, Rika John, then she wouldn't come in that handy. So is she being used often in that sense? I would say no. It's very situational. Okay, let's go back to PvE. So we have cleared the that dungeon. The other place which she could be used will be dragons. Okay, so for those players out there who have been around long enough, you would know that Tetra is actually really good in DB10. She could actually solo DB10. So for players, the newer players, this is just for you to know. I'm not encouraging you to build Tetra because of that, because you will get past that phase, alright, of clearing the dungeons once you farm good enough runes. Or you could actually check out my free-to-play save team, which I've just uploaded recently. I'll link the link in the description down below. You could go and check it out. So Tetra in Dragon's Dungeon, same thing. It's just to increase the survivability of your team, because the boss deals more damage when you have dots on you, and Tetra could help to reduce the debuff count and then eventually cleanse the dots. It's useful to also reduce the time of the defense break inflicted on your team, so that also increases the survivability of the team. But then again, we don't really see Tetra being used much in Dragons now. There are so many other teams out there. For example, Trikaru, that's now the meta for DB12. So I'm just showing you this team because it is a place where Tetra is useful. Will I recommend you to build her just for this? The answer is no. Okay, so this is just a short review on Tetra. Let me just summarize my thoughts. Tetra is a good support unit. So you could build her if you do have additional resources. She will probably be good in Guild and Siege. Whereas for the other PvE content, she's really not needed. She's secondary. If you want to use her for PvP, just make sure you really have a good enough runes for her, and you have high accuracy and high speed. Okay? But even if you want to use her for RTA, for example, you probably will only pick her when there is, let's say for example, Gianna or Bomber without any Sierra. Okay, so Tetra is pretty situational. Overall, she is a good unit, but she is not a must-have. Okay, so I think that's about it. Do let me know your thoughts about her. I am not sure whether are there any players out there who uses her differently, but if you do, please let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, that's all. and please subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and give a thumbs up because this is Tetra, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.